forms of social media: Instagram, Faith and Whatever; Twitter, Faith the letter N whatever; Facebook.com/Faith and Whatever. We don't quite yet have a Pinterest. We're working on that.
You know, I'm kind of bummed no one has gotten your giveaways on Instagram.
That's okay. Once more people like us and follow through, we'll follow through on our end of the deal. IGN Oculus Rift review, boys. VR review is in.
It's finally out.
Dan Stapleton, the author of this, and Dan is a well-known and trusted friend of IGN.
Well, he works
no
at
clue
IGN.
of this podcast. But his verdict here we go. After spending many hours in virtual reality, I believe the launch of the Oculus Rift is the start of a new era. The first time you put it on is the closest thing to real magic you're likely to experience anytime soon. It is true that VR has a lot of maturing to do, but this amazing headset is a front row seat to watch gaming history being made. Its current lack of motion controllers means these enticing experiences are mostly look but don't touch. But even though it can't live up to its full potential quite yet, the ability to do so easily immerse ourselves in a game world or other virtual environments is worth every penny. So just some specs to understand about Oculus Rift. It's debuting at $600. The current specs
That's just for the virtual reality headset, not the PC you need to run it.
Yeah, so here are some of the things you need to run it. I'm just going to read this list because I don't understand it. It's only a few bullet points. NVIDIA GTX 970/AMD R9290 equivalent or greater. An Intel i5-4590 equivalent or greater. 8+ gigabytes of RAM. Compatible HDMI 1.3 video output. 3 times USB 3.0 ports.
3 USB ports and one USB 2.0
port. Windows 7 SP1 64-bit or newer. So those are
4
predominantly
USB
for
ports.
you, Chris.
So that's just some
and
standard
an
stuff.
HDMI port. Man, how many?
That's so. If those numbers don't mean anything to you, what that means is if you know how to build your own computer well, you could probably build that for about $1,000. And if you don't know how to build a computer and you have to buy one pre-built, that's about a $1,500 computer.
You know it is about $1,500.
Yeah, but
every Mac on the market.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
not only does the video card and the RAM not meet the requirements, you only have one USB port.
Yeah, and
my
I don't
does
mean
meet the
laptop.
requirements, actually.
I mean
does?
some kind of PC, standing PC.
Yeah, a GTX
But not
970 is
video
still
card.
pretty.
What's a GTX 970, Chris?
I have a 960 in my computer, to give you an idea. And my computer's, it's not super cutting edge.
So why don't you just get 10 more?
I
could.
would at the
I
time
mean,
if
I really don't
money.
understand. I really don't understand these
It's just-
numbers.
It's a price thing.
It's probably only $200, right, for 970?
For 970, I think they're down around 260 now. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah,
For
which
one
is
is
which
just
for a
around
video
longer.
card is.
But it also depends on which
lot.
970 you want, because you can get them with different amounts of
Well, if
VRAM and stuff like
970 is $270, is 290 only
No.
$70?
that. No, it's not like that at all.
Okay. Well, then we're looking at an investment of almost around $2,000 after you include the supercomputer that you built yourself and Oculus Rift, plus
Yeah.
applicable taxes in whatever state you may
And
reside.
then you got to buy games.
Right. Oh yeah.
And as he mentions there, it doesn't yet come with the motion controls. They are developing motion controls for it. The PSVR will have motion controls, and so will the Vive, which are
So that's like
competitors
if I
coming on their
punch
way.
in real life, I punch in the game.
Right.
Okay, so the 970 is still over $300 by itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot for a video card.
Yeah,
That's a ton.
$330.
So, but it's
Is
you
it
know,
HD? Is the Oculus in HD?
Yes, it's in it's one. I can't remember. It's 2000 by something resolution pixels.
good enough.
It's good. It's great resolution. Wonderful resolution.
You can see through white people. Is that good?
I don't really get that.
Because we're translucent. That's how high def it is.
Okay. Anyway,
It's not a joke that had to
So-
make sense.
so the point being, this is the beginning of the era of modern VR, which has a lot of promise. There's a lot of the industry, the tech industry, is very excited. This is not the VR, the silly VR of the '80s. You know, all those terrible VR movies and VR experiences that had promise but really led nowhere. This is now kind of what we've all been thinking about. And the question for Pop Topic is
Very good. That's very good.
the question I'm posing to everybody is, what are some of the experiences you expect, you hope for, that you want out of VR going forward, and not just video games. just any sort of experience.
Life experience.
I can start us off with one of mine, which is 3D tours.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
I was thinking the same thing.
3D tours of just about anything of a company. Imagine. Let me give an example here. So when I was a kid, I used to visit my grandparents. My grandparents lived right next to pretty close to the Jelly Belly factory.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid,
Always wanted to go there.
the Jelly Belly factory tour was really through the factory on the ground floor, and you really got in there. But I bet Health Code has stepped in since then, and I visited as an adult a few years ago to take my own kids. And now the whole tour is above the factory on rigging,
It's a
basically,
sham.
with
Yeah.
videos and glass windows to look down at what's going on. And then they give you a bag of Jelly Belly beans at the end to make you happy. Not the same experience. Now, it'd be great to go there in person and have that experience I had as a kid, but that's not available now. The next best thing,
Oculus Rift.
a 3D virtual
Heck
tour
yeah.
where you could get into all those corners and stuff, and you could still get as close as I got through virtual reality and see all those nooks and crannies and see all these things really up close and personal from the comfort of your own home.
See, that seems like not to get too technical, but that seems to be quite a ways away because what you're referring to is real, maybe not real life footage being able to be experienced in virtual reality. Is that what you're thinking, possibly?
Yeah, but 3D cameras are going down in price. So
Yeah, but the resolution is, right now if you take a 3D tour of, through Google, you're like, oh, you click over here and it's like, and it gets blurry, and then you're
Right.
looking at, that's probably different than just like a space that you can, I don't know, I'm sure they can, but like
Yeah.
a space you can literally just go anywhere in high def. That would be incredible.
but I'm projecting ahead here. Something I would like out
a
of
couple
virtual
years,
reality.
maybe.
So what they do is down on the ground floor there, they take their 3D cameras and they get everything they possibly can,
Yeah.
and then they create a tour where they still guide you, but there's sort of a limited freedom. So it's like, we're coming to this space now, and the person's talking, and you kind of get to look around as they're talking, and
Yeah.
you can even still make it live in the sense that maybe the tour guide is live, but your space to explore is pre-programmed with 3D cameras and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I could just see something really neat. Another thing I thought of, which is kind of using the same concept, is imagine a household, like a living room, having a 3D camera when the technology is cheap enough and good enough, and being able to call your family in another state and be able to be in the same room as them with the virtual headset. And be able to sort of explore your living room as you talk to mom or dad or cousin.
How
or
would
uncle.
that work though? Would they also have one on, and you'd be looking at each other's
We are
faces
one
with,
step away from atom transportation.
You mean
Our atoms.
In
transporting
this
ourselves.
case, I'm talking about VR, and I think it could work with VR. It'd probably work a little better with something more like HoloLens.
Okay.
So everybody has HoloLens. The
Well, yeah,
HoloLens
you
could
can see a majority of their face.
majority of the face, and you're still in your own room being able to see what you're doing, and you don't
Yeah.
just have a headset on. But then but you see a projection of that person due to the HoloLens or the Google Glass there.
Yeah.
So that could be pretty cool,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But I don't want to take up all the time here. Any others here who
So
wants
I was thinking a couple non-gaming things, like you were, like virtual tours. I think it'd be cool to see not just famous buildings. I think the Louvre and those places like that would be like shoe-ins for virtual reality tours. But what about famous objects that aren't, I don't know, like famous ships and airplanes, the International Space Station, things that I'll never probably get to see in my lifetime. Like, I don't know, it'd be cool to see like, what's the Air Force One, in a virtual tour, just to kind of see what it's, just to walk down the aisles and to see what it looks like. Maybe even, wouldn't be near as cool, but to see natural landmarks through virtual tour, but just to see some of the things that people are saying, oh my gosh, you have to see it in real life, just to see the size or just to see the scale, so pictures don't really do a great job of seeing scale. Videos do a little bit better. Maybe virtuality would be another step,
Yeah.
If you try to explain someone what it's like to stand on the edge of the Grand Canyon, maybe virtual reality would, for someone who could never visit for whatever reason, could get a better idea of what that actually looks like. I'm also interested in, I guess part of my fear is how self-absorbed virtual reality could become because it's by yourself. So I'm interested to see in which ways community can happen with virtual reality and relationships can not be formed necessarily, but just my hope is that we just don't exclude ourselves for everything real life. I don't have big hopes for virtual reality to improve our ability to connect with people in real life, but I'd be interested to see in which ways it attempts to continue human connections. You know, easy way would be like multiplayer video games. I'd be interested to see what that would be like. It'd be fun to see you and your friends playing a game, and yet when you turn to see them, you all see each other's avatars and things like that. You know,
Right.
Even though you're in a different room, in a different state, in a different country, multiplayer games would be slightly more immersive because you would see them and you could move around. You know, so interested to see how some of those things play out as this very kind of I don't want to almost selfish like media content kind of develops.
Yeah.
I want to see historical events.
That's a
Front
good
row
idea.
seat. I mean, Assassin's Creed basically built a whole game franchise on that. I mean,
Yeah.
you could do it with the non-gaming aspect.
What's an example? What would you like to see?
Battle of Gettysburg.
You know what? I've
That'd be
been so
terrible.
surprised.
be
Speaking of
terrible.
Assassin's Creed, though, they picked some settings that, like, I don't always think of when I think of big historical events, and every one of them's been interesting, and I've learned things that.
Do they pick real ones? I never.
Yeah,
Okay.
They
like,
mix the real with a fictional story.
yeah, it's historical fiction.
Yeah.
So Assassin's Creed 2 was Renaissance Italy, which obviously had a ton of awesome architecture and art to see. And then they did the American Revolution, and then they did the French Revolution, which is something, I mean, we barely talk about in history class here in high school.
Right.
But to see a more detailed look at it was really interesting. And so pretty much anything in history where anything big happened is interesting.
On that same note, what about like, you know how they talk about for example, the pyramids in Giza were covered in this polished white limestone.
Yeah.
You know, like
to be able to see it as
to
it
see that,
originally was.
yeah, like and walk right up to it, or even like I just saw a thing on Reddit where they were like comparing the Mayflower pilgrim ship to the largest Chinese trade ships of like the same of the 12th
Or you could
century.
see all the original Seven Wonders.
Sure, yeah.
Or, you know, on top of that, going forward with historical moments, you know, we could develop the imperative that, you know, major like historical landmark moments like a certain presidential speech that they
Get recorded?
they record it in 3D with 3D cameras,
Preserved.
360 cameras, and so that we can always go back and look at those things in VR and kind of research them and keep them in a fuller sense.
So
Imagine-
supposedly, Abraham Lincoln once gave a speech so good, the guy who was supposed to be writing it down forgot. And everybody
funny.
just gave him a standing ovation.
I wonder if this is getting maybe too specific, but I wonder whenever the first human walks on Mars, if it will be fully recorded in virtual reality in high definition so that you could put on it. Maybe you can't decide to go anywhere you want, but you can feel like you are that person walking where he walks and experiencing, or she experiences that moment we've stepped on another planet. That probably will be a given, but you know.
Yeah. Josh, did you want to add something before I throw another in there?
Sporting events.
Of course.
I would love to see Game 7 of a World Series or Game 7 of an NBA championship.
Walking
best seat
around
in
on
the
that
house.
baseball
Yeah.
diamond.
You could
Imagine-
maybe you could change views at a click. You know,
Just
like I
seeing
want to be
different
behind
angles.
the bat.
And you know what they have at baseball stadiums to their disposal that they don't take advantage of is open air.
Yeah.
Imagine drones with 3D cameras in that open space.
How cool would it be to see a baseball
Capturing
home
things.
run coming right at your drone and then have it shattered into a million pieces as you switch to...
No, but he's got a point. What about being able to view a game, I guess, on field?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so maybe you can pay for these visual upgrades, right? These visual seat upgrades or something like that where you sit behind the diamond.
Yeah.
Or like, you know, you can sit behind the netting of, you know, in the center or like the very first row behind the net if you want to do something like that, or if you want to sit on the first base line. And if you pay like X amount of dollars, you can switch between the best camera angles that there are, right? So like from the right field, looking at home plate, from left field, center field, and then on first and third in the hot corners or behind, you know, whatever. Or even cooler, from the umpire's head
Yeah.
helmet cam
Yeah.
or something.
If cameras were
like that,
small
as he
enough, they could be
calls.
on players.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think virtual reality will be, if utilized by baseball correctly, a very, very big step in aiding getting baseball back to the sake of relevancy.
Or maybe a silly thing here, but imagine in the esports industry creating a virtual stadium where everybody is sitting and watching.
Still be rad.
esports.
Still be rad. I would so do that.
A virtual stadium of video
Yeah.
game tournament.
Virtual stadium of a virtual tournament.
Now we've talked about
Totally
These
makes
virtual
sense.
hot dogs aren't very filling.
It's just ridiculous.
We talked about this in a news topic a previous week, but I want to bring it back up because it's one of the things I'm expecting and looking forward to, which is using VR to add dimension to something that already exists. And the news topic we discussed weeks ago was, I think it was Magic Mountain having
The ride.
a roller coaster in which it's a real roller coaster, but you wear a VR headset while you're on the roller coaster. And
You're a pilot.
And the VR video is a pilot during an alien invasion. And so you're getting the motion action. Your body's receiving the motion action of what's happening in the VR video. And you're basically experiencing a design sort of alien invasion situation with all the motion captured in it and the physical feeling of it too.
I remember not liking that planet. I still don't like that.
Wrong.
I mean, but only because
You're just wrong.
if you're fully connected into VR, you don't need to fly around on a roller coaster. If you want to experience negative G, okay, that would be really hard because you'd have to be dropping down. But if you want to experience veering to the left, you could. Same way we grew up when we went to like Boomers and they had virtual reality rides. If you just turn left and right, you're going to get the same experience as if you were dipping and diving and things like that.
I think there would be a difference.
Yeah, you feel.
I'm not
wind.
saying you can't get something similar.
Star Tours
facsimile.
does not feel as the same as a roller coaster.
Right.
VR.
Star Tours.
Yeah,
Think about it. That's what Star Tours basically does. It leans
Right.
you left and right, and it drops a little bit, but not like a roller coaster does.
Yeah, the only thing a roller coaster would be really good at is some negative G, going over some hill and crests, and you'll float off your bottom. You float off your seat.
And the acceleration.
Yeah. I mean, do you think they're more than 1 G when they accelerate?
Oh yeah.
Real roller coasters are.
Yeah, like Montezuma's Revenge.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, yeah.
Solved. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. I mean, something like space. What's the one in Disneyland? What's inside? It's dark. Space Mountain.
I almost blacked out on Goliath one
Oh,
time.
everyone blacks out on Goliath.
Yeah.
Or imagine this. Now, this isn't VR. This would probably be better as like a HoloLens or a Google Glass thing. But imagine going with your family. Your daughter is a little older. And you go to a restaurant in Disneyland, and you put on your daughter a HoloLens, and you
Yeah.
put it on too. So you're still in the restaurant. You still see what you're doing. You still see your family. You're eating. But the
But you
HoloLens
don't have to talk to
puts
them?
all the Disney characters.
Augmented reality.
Yeah, it puts what was that movie? Roger Rabbit. Roger Rabbit's the whole restaurant.
So on your table you have Mrs. Teapots or whatever.
Yeah, and silly things happening
Yeah,
and-
for sure.
Yeah, so like augmenting real experiences.
Dear Oculus Rift, this video is our formal application to come and help develop ideas as your new think tank.
They can just
Please
send
consider us seriously.
They can just send us one, and we'll totally review that for at least 20 minutes.
I would give it 20 episodes.
I don't think any of us has a computer that could run it.
I will put out the
negative.
money.
Send us a computer.
Did you ever see the Star Trek with the guy when Lieutenant Barclay gets addicted to the holodeck?
Yes.
I've seen the Futurama where Fry gets addicted to the holodeck.
Yeah, same difference.
It's funny how Star Trek The Next Generation had to utilize the holodeck for so many episodes. That thing was always going awry on
The
them.
writers were addicted to the holodeck.
Yeah, they were.
Did you say awry?
Yes.
I say that too. People tell me it's awry. Is it? Wait. We gotta really.
Josh is having a real crisis.
We gotta figure this out.
What are we even talking about?
Awry, AWRY, right?
It's pronounced awry, but Scottish father over here. So
Oh, I thought you were either really slyly making fun of me. We had like a 30-minute discussion about this at my house.
Okay.
There with my whole family over Christmas because I called it awry because I'd never heard it pronounced before.
It's
I had
awry.
only read it in books.
What are you talking about?
The
word
word
awry.
awry.
I said
that?
awry.
AWRY. Awry. When
Oh,
something
it's-
goes awry, it goes
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah.
I had only ever read AWRY in books, so I pronounced it awry when I was at a family dinner, and everybody laughed at me, and it was just super confusing. And he just said that, so I told him, and he was either slightly making fun of me. Anyway, this is getting less funny as I tell it more.
No, I
Yeah.
get it now. I thought you were talking about like a character's name in Star Trek. I was like, okay.
That's what you get from learning from books.
Book never learned me anything.
All right, so I'm excited for this. I'm excited for VR. One thing I think would be cool if we could do like a virtual reality church service. I think something
Right.
like that would be neat, where we could.
Then I really don't have to go.
No, I mean if I'm on
connecting,
you
with
know,
other
if I'm
people.
somewhere and I'm out and about and I can't make it because I'm on business or something like that, I can still be with people.
It can be programmed to shock you a little from the headset when you get the Holy Spirit.
And just elicit all types of money.
Can you program a hug?
And
I mean, some people can't make it to
No.
church physically.
right. So somebody can't be there on a Sunday because they work or something like that. I think it would be cool. Or for the rich suburban white college kid who's tired of going to church because that's too lame.
He's tired of having his car drive him to work.
You
It's
just
too much
you
work.
just gave me a
He's a group of
revelation.
Church, I mean, yeah.
Joel Olstein's gonna be all over this thing.
Yeah, he's gonna get rich.
He's gonna be a VR star.
He's gonna be rich.
We gotta get out ahead of this, guys.
So
We're on the cutting edge of virtual pastorship.
VP. I'm a virtual pastor.
He's gonna go from millions to bazillions.
They're gonna invent a new
Not if
word.
we do first.
And we would just go to thousands.
There are
I
dozens
can't wait
of
to go
us.
to 20s.
Yeah, 20s would be dope. So, what are you excited for virtual reality? Let us know in the comments. Try and keep it relatively appropriate.
Who was that?
That was Garrett. Try and keep it relatively apropos.
Somebody died.
So,
Oh, those magic berries are coming back.
I think the only thing we have left to do in this awry podcast segment is
Gone out.
20 preguntas, which is 20 questions.
20 questions.
False.
Your hint for the day, which for this time around this week, is I've been debating the best hint to give.
Yeah, it's hard. Hints can be hard sometimes.
Yeah, it's been easy up until this one. I'm going to give you the hint that it's not human. There we go. That's all I'll say. Not human.
It's probably virtual reality, guys.
Is that a serious question?
No, because I
no.
think you're just going to make fun of me and say no.
Okay. Is it?
Was I correct?
Does it?
No, that's one.
Does this thing consist of matter?
I think you guys should ask a different question.
Does it exist in real life?
Okay, that's better. So, is this a
Physical.
thing in real life?
Physical. Can I touch it? Can I touch this thing with my own finger?
You can touch a version of it with your own finger.
Okay. Well, I mean, the
So
fake,
he said the
the
hint
fake
is-
version of it, the one that someone could create it in their cosplay.
He said it's not human. So are we talking like plant? Yeah, I mean, do I think that way or should
It's
we?
gotta be yes or no.
I just
no,
asked
I'm
it-
talking with the team.
I just asked the question because if the answer was Bender from Futurama, I can't touch Bender. I mean, I guess if someone created a Bender out of cardboard and spray painted it and
So that guy in Australia built one out of sheet metal.
yeah. So I guess my question was lame. I don't know. I'm
Can you
trusting that-
clarify on that for him?
Nope.
He was pretty clear. I can touch a version of it. So maybe my question wasn't very good.
For the very first time? Madonna reference.
Does this not human thing come from entertainment?
Yes.
Is this not human thing a character?
Yes.
Should I ask if it's a superhero?
Sure.
Is this not human thing? Oh, no, that would make sense.
You sure it would?
Okay, is this not a superhero?
I would say it's debatable, but my answer would be no.
Because Superman's not human, remember?
Right.
Oh,
Ho 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 ho.
but definitely a superhero.
Well, a super person.
And we could debate that Tony Stark with his heart of adamantium, whatever it is he's not really.
That's
human
Wolverine.
either.
Come on.
I know. I don't know what it is.
That's not what he doesn't have a heart of adamantium.
Oh my gosh! Sorry, Luke.
Actually.
Sorry, Luke.
Okay.
Is this not human thing Should we ask if it's edible?
You should ask if it's male.
He said it's.
Is
it metal?
male?
Male.
Male?
Well, it's not human, so I.
You could have female aliens.
Yeah, right. Well, who knows?
Leela.
Who knows what they're.
Wonder Woman's a demigod.
I was wondering how she got her powers.
She's only 40% god.
Does this character come from or originate from comic books?
To your knowledge.
No. It does not originate in comics.
Is this character from sci-fi?
Yes. Many would categorize it that way.
Is this like are you making a differentiation? What? Are you making a difference in your meaning between like graphic novel and comic book? That's not a question. That's just like a clarifying idea.
From a graphic novel and a comic book would be the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, I could have said literature, but
I'm
then
thinking like the
that would have
Sandman
been-
series.
That would have included comics, and then that would have been really broad, right?
No, I was thinking of like the Sandman series, where it's like in those published hardbacks that you have.
Those were comics first.
Oh, okay, I didn't know
The
that.
graphic novel usually is something that comes later.
Okay, never mind. All right. So what do we have so
How
far?
many questions we asked?
Not human.
6.
It's not human, and it's from entertainment, and it's from sci-fi. And
Did we
it's-
say if it was male or not?
You didn't
No,
ask
we
that
didn't.
question.
I didn't fish. We didn't.
Okay, is it male?
In the loosest possible sense.
Is it a comic book, Chris? Did we
He
say it was
said-
from a
he
character?
says-
It was
he
a
said
comic
no.
book.
From a
You,
comic book.
you asked if it originated in a comic book, and the answer to that question is no.
So
Is
it,
this-
so it turns into a
It
comic
could have
book.
gotten a comic book after.
Is this non-human thing? Is it portrayed to be created by humans?
No.
Does the origination of this is the genesis of this non-human thing before January 1st, 2000?
The Genesis, yes.
Yeah, but that if it's from entertainment, it could also be the
Let's narrow
fictional-
down.
the fictional or the actual.
Primarily known for movies.
Too-
Lately, yes.
Too mainstream.
So I said not made by humans, so it's not a robot. It's not Data from Star Trek.
Which one's the Mad Men
Oh,
character
he could have
who's
been made
eternal?
by he could have been made by aliens. I don't know, but I think it was made by
What's the eternal Mad Men character?
Mad Men.
What?
The eternal character
Don
from
Draper?
Mad Men?
Internal
Eternal? The one, the blue thing?
from
That's
Mad
Watchmen.
Men.
Oh,
Watchmen.
Watchmen.
Oh, Watchmen.
But he was male.
Doctor
Manhattan.
Doctor
He was
Manhattan.
quite clearly male. That movie.
I don't get the joke. I never saw Watchmen.
Yeah, you just watch it.
Especially the unedited version.
Nope.
It was a bit awkward.
Just saying, if you need an anatomy lesson for some kids, this is an easy way to get to that.
All right.
You might be confused about the size.
By the
and
way, you have
color.
10 serious questions on the
Size
table.
What did he say about movies? What did he say? Yes or no?
Primarily known for movies lately,
Lately.
like Johnny Lately.
And arguably a hero.
He said primarily not, but arguably not a hero.
You said superhero. I
mm,
don't want that to
right.
be confused with hero.
Okay,
Oh.
we did say superhero,
So he could just be a regular hero.
but not a human.
They're two very different things in my mind.
Right, right.
I guess we might already understand this, but is this fictional? Oh, well, that's giving too much. Is this thing portrayed to be from a planet other than Earth, from a place other than Earth, planet?
Yes.
So it's an alien character in sci-fi, but not from comics, potentially,
Now, xenomorph
and not movies. Was that right? Did he say primarily not? I keep asking that.
said
said-
lately
I
movies.
said late. The question was, is it primarily known from
Okay.
movies? And my question was lately, yes.
But
So
its
we-
origin started before January 1st, 2000.
Okay,
Correct.
so
So it's old.
but the thing is, like Star Wars characters could have been, unless it's brand new, introduced in the new movie.
Is it Yoda?
Is that a serious question?
What do you think, Chris? Is that the right idea?
Well,
Because Yoda's loosely a male. I'm going to ask that question.
all right, ask it.
Is it
No.
Yoda? Dang. Wasn't a bad question, though.
Well, but
no, no, bad
no,
question.
but he did say lately it's known from movies, and I think Chris
Which-
asked, is it primarily known from movies, and the automatic answer would have been yes.
Yeah, for Yoda, that would have been a yes.
Is it from our solar system?
No.
Or is it from a time ago long,
So
long
we're
away?
talking like way out.
Way out,
Correct.
right?
By the way, you have 13 questions asked.
So
So it's from a
sci-fi,
different solar system
sci-fi,
entirely.
Primarily in movies, possibly other areas.
Oh no, it's not the Silver Surfer.
Before, he said before 2000. So I would think maybe a Star Trek character could be possible because primarily they're only in movies right now. There isn't a really hopping Star Trek TV show. I don't know many of those alien characters in Star Trek.
What are they, Chris? Come on now. We got Klingons. We've got.
Borg.
Oh, what about Wookiee? Is it a Wookiee of sorts?
That's Star Wars, again.
Could be.
Yeah, but he said no to primarily. He would have automatically been yes to that answer about movies. So it had to be. I mean, I'm just guessing a Star Trek.
Would be 2. I mean, we'd have to start narrowing it down.
thinking.
What's
Is
the
it?
what Garrett's
Is it
saying
from
the
the
right
Star
thinking.
Trek universe?
No.
All right.
So it's a sci-fi series before 2000. I mean, I'm just going on a limb here. Not Star Trek, and primarily meaning recently. Or you said recently known for movies.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing this franchise existed before 2000 at Sci-Fi, and it's not Star Wars or Star Trek.
Is it Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Is it that? Is it Crow? No, Crow was probably made by man because he was really bored and made.
Bender was made by. Oh yeah, Bender's from Mexico. You remember?
Yeah. That's one of my favorite episodes of the show.
Movies. Recent movies and not Star Trek.
You have 14 questions asked. Would you like a hint now?
Sure.
Robot.
Okay, so it's a robot not made by humans though.
Correct.
So before 2000.
And not from the Star Trek universe.
Or Star Wars.
No, we didn't specify if it was from the Star Wars
Yeah,
universe.
but primarily movies now.
He would have said yes. Chris specifically asked, "Are they known for movies?" And he hesitated. And
Yeah, let's say the answer were R2D2. That would be primarily known from
Yeah.
movies.
Okay.
So basically, anything Star Wars is going to be primarily from the movies.
Got it. And it does have a comic book written after it.
no,
probably.
not necessarily.
After it.
But
Yeah,
yes,
not
if
before
that
it.
was the
after
origin.
its origin. No,
Yeah.
after its origin.
Yeah, but he didn't. That doesn't mean that it is. It is
It
mentioned
means
in
it
comics.
could have a comic book after it.
Could.
Okay, should we clarify that? Would that be helpful?
No.
No.
Okay. I didn't waste it. It's like a
So
unanimous no.
let's
So
Put
it's
that in the
probably from,
bylaws.
what, TV or from books?
but now maybe some recent movies.
Is
fairly-
it from TV?
Yes.
Okay, so
And I'm underlining here the word from, right, as like in an origin sense.
okay.
Oh, I'll bet you it's Alf. Oh no, Alf's
said
not
robot.
a robot.
See, I just keep thinking Star Trek, but
Oscar the
but
Grouch?
but we asked that, right? So
Is this an obvious franchise you guys haven't touched?
yeah, like
Battlestar Galactica?
Stargate.
I haven't
Battlestar
touched
Galactica.
this franchise once.
You
in
think
this
it's a
conversation.
Cylon?
Is that a question?
Yeah.
No.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't even know. that
What is an
Battlestar
obvious?
Galactica.
Then the other one would be what are those plunger bots on Doctor Who?
Doctor Who. I don't know
Daleks.
nearly enough about Doctor Who to be able to guess an alien created robot.
I probably wouldn't have done Doctor Who because I'm not sure everybody would know much about Doctor Who.
I don't know anything about Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not missing much.
So,
Plus, I hate Doctor Who.
what are some
I think we all unanimously hate D Who.
what are some pre-2000 sci-fi series or franchises? That's not Star Wars or Star Trek.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
And I want to underline something. As a kind of hint.
Hercules.
When you asked if it was sci-fi, my answer was many people would
Call it sci-fi.
call it sci-fi.
Okay.
And what I was being sensitive to there is, I didn't want you. Don't go down a sci-fi hole.
Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't have to be space. It could just be fiction, and but it has robots in it. Some people would consider it sci-fi.
And it's not from our solar system.
Correct. It's a robot created not by humans.
This is all true.
What are some robots?
You got 4
in-
questions
Oh,
left.
like a Transformers or
Okay.
Yeah.
stuff like that.
It's a good
Okay.
one.
Like a Megatron.
Yeah. Okay. His origin did start from TV shows,
Did I
and is
na-
now
did I just
primarily
nail it,
named for
James?
movies.
Did I just
Yeah.
nail it, James? I think I
Is
might have
it-
just nailed it, Chris.
Ask if it's a
Is
transformer.
it Optimus Prime?
Yes.
Alley oop to you, my friends. That's
There
right.
you go.
Optimus Prime.
Putting
Optimus
it down.
Prime.
Optimus
There's your-
Prime Minister.
Well,
good.
That'd be better than a president.
That's good.
here's my robot.
Right?
Beep,
Known
boop,
for
boop,
lately
boop,
for
boop,
movies
boop,
Yeah,
by Michael
yeah.
Bay.
Yeah, and
Comes from Cybertron.
I
not
almost was
human
gonna
made.
ask. I almost was gonna ask as an animated, and that would have
doing
been
the
complicated.
robot because we won again.
Would have been
yeah.
yes.
Whoop, boop,
Yeah, I mean, its origin was
yeah.
at the same time a toy and a cartoon.
But right.
And the toys and the cartoons were made together to get one to sell the other. Right.
And they did so
Transformers,
well.
robots in disguise.
And the reason why I had to say, well, is it something in real life? Is because when it was made to be a toy. Like that
Right.
was its purpose.
Well, as soon as you
the
said
toy
yes-
wasn't an afterthought.
I immediately thought toy. I mean, you could take a fictional character and then I could touch it because you created it into a toy.
Transformers
Like-
more than meets
Which I would
the
distinguish from like
eye.
R2D2. Obviously, there's toys, but R2D2 wasn't made to be a toy. And so that's not part of its identity, I would say.
Right.
But Optimus Prime is a toy. Like it was made. The cartoon was to sell the toy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That was good.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Should have said GoBots.
Oh my gosh.
I thought you meant. I was wondering if it was
trash Transformers.
I was wondering if it
That's
was
all we could
something
afford.
Digimon related.
Yeah, that's he's not going to be that obscure.
Fair enough.
I went with Optimus Prime because
could have
of the
been it.
movies. Movies made it popularly relevant again. Yeah.
Right.
So
So, let me see a response video. My robot dance was a throwdown to all of our subscribers to send in a view, or a video rather, of their robot response dance. The gauntlet has been laid out, but in order to do that, you need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, so we know who you are there. So you can follow us on Twitter at faithandwhatever, faithandwhatever.com, facebook.com/faithandwhatever, Instagram. We are on there as faithandwhatever. We do awesome stuff there. Chris is at Marion Ranch. James is at JamesYUILE. Garrett is at TStudentLife. And I'm at Josh_Carmen on Twitter. We would love to connect with you. Keep sending in those questions. And until next time.
good night.
Yeah.